All right. We back. All right, so I don't know what happened with the phone on the last live feed that we tried to just do. So, with that being said, we are back. We are going to do this. So, without further ado, we are back live. So, I tried to do the first one. It phone froze up on me. So, we had to restart the phone, cancel the live feed, restart a new one, all that stuff. It happens. So, anyways, so I noticed in Choices live feed, we had questions about, you know, A2 split, lease purchase at TMC. All right, so we had A2 split, and a few other things. So without further ado, we're gonna get into that. Um, yeah, Trucker Dan, I got a new truck. The 388 blew up, bro. So, anyways, the 8-2 split. All right, so how that works is, okay, let's say that you've been at like a shipper or something. You done your 30 minutes loading. You've been in sleeper 2 hours. So let's just say you got to be at the consignee at 7 a.m. Well, you got 400 miles to drive. So the way you do that is, okay, you've already had a 2 hour break. Let's say it's 400 miles. Okay, you can ride out the last remaining time on your clock. So, and so you drive out the last remaining amount of time you got on your clock. So, with you being in the sleeper berth, let's just say you start working on your 14, which a lot of times that'll happen. Your 14 will catch up to you. So you'll start working on your 14. So what'll happen is whatever hours that you did not use off your drive clock is what you'll get back. All right, off your. So with that, let's just say, okay, well, I've got 250 miles to go. Well, I only got, let's say 2 hours to get 120 miles down the road because I've been stuck at a shipper all day. Well, then I'll take that 2 hours I can drive, get to a truck stop, or drive down the road as far as I can, park, take an 8 hour break, wake up the next morning, and shag on down the road after an 8 hour break. The 8-2 split, you can do it several different ways. You can do it to get your clock back on track to where you're working day shift versus night shift. You can do it several different ways. Sometimes when you do an 8-2 split, though, it can screw you throughout the day because of, you having to take a 2 hour break in the middle of the day and stuff like that. So it can screw you if you don't do an 8-2 split properly. What I mean is, you got to look at your trip plan correctly. You got to do everything. You got to look at all the variables. Okay, if I do an 8-2 split, what time am I going to get there to the consignee if I do an 8-2 split? Versus if I do a 10-hour break, am I going to get there at the same time? So you gotta know within the 8 hour break with the 8-2 split, or with a 10-hour break, and you can still make it there at the same time without feeling tired, groggy, and all that type of stuff. So there's a lot of ways that you can do an 8-2 split, and make it work for you, or you can do a 10-hour break and just say to hell with it. Like a lot of times, I'll just tell my fleet manager, hey, I ain't going to make it on time. Cool. I don't do 8-2 splits that much. But when I do, I make them count. So that way I'm not screwing myself during the week out of a good load, stuff like that. So let's catch up to the comments here. Let's see, second time's a charm. Hey brother, what's going on, Detroit? What's going on, Jim? What's up, Warwick? Jim, no, I'm not an owner-op here at TMC, not yet, but I've done all my research into the lease purchase program here. I've talked to all the people that I need to talk to. I've talked to all the owner-ops here at TMC that are doing a lease purchase. I've talked to the guys that have their own trucks here at TMC, that have bought their trucks, brought them over. I've talked to the guys that have paid their trucks off here at TMC. So, you know, I've got a good idea of what it takes here to be an owner-op. Yes, Jim. Yes, you can. By DOT, you have to, yes, finish the contract and not got screwed. DOT only requires you to show 30 minutes loading and 30 minutes unloading. If it's a trailer swap, only 15 minutes. Okay? Because it doesn't take that long to do a drop and hook for a preloaded trailer. What's up, Mr. Chapstick? But, you know, so let's just say, you know, not every shipper is going to take 30 minutes to load you. Not every consignee is going to take, you know, 30 minutes to unload you. So, you know, it really depends. You know, like, let's just say you get loaded, but it's a line to get out through the tarpon station after you strap and secure your load. Why are you going to sit there on duty? Go ahead and take that time that you would sit there on duty and put it in sleeper berth. So just in case you have to do an 8-2 split or something like that, you've already got that 2-hour break in. You're already preparing yourself just in case you have to do it. You see what I'm saying? Everything's about preparation, preparing yourself, you know, to where if something worst case scenario were to happen, you got your ducks in a row and you covered your own ass. CYA. So, basically with the 8-2 split, you do a 2-hour break. Then once you drive out, you know, the remaining time that you have, let's say on your 14, you have 2 hours left. Drive that 2 hours out. What you have left on your drive clock is what you'll get back after an 8-hour break. And then once you drive, you know, let's just say you get back 6 hours. Well, you drive part of that 6 hours out, take you a 2-hour break, and the last remaining bit of time that you got, that you would get on your 10-hour, you get back on your 8-hour. So it works out. That's how an 8-2 split actually really works. Yes. Or get loaded after you show your 30 minutes loading. See, like, I don't even wait for them to start loading me to do my 30 minutes loading. I go ahead and put myself on duty, 30 minutes loading. Then I switch to sleeper berth. And then I stay in sleeper the rest of the time I'm there. It may not be the correct way by the DOT rule book, but that's what TMC teaches us, has told us to do, is you have to bare minimum show 30 minutes of loading. So I just go into sleeper berth at the shipper because you can't go into off duty, but you can't, you know, just stay on duty the whole time and waste your clock. So there's little things that you can do to get around the rule book there with the DOT. I'm not telling you to do it, but I'm just saying. Don't just go out there going and doing this stuff. You get pulled over by DOT, and then you guys go, oh, well, veteran trucker told us it was okay. Well, then you're going to get the ticket, and then you're going to be yelling at me over YouTube going, man, I got a ticket because you told me to do this. And no, I'm not telling you to do it. Well, no. To get yourself back on track, you just have to do a 10-hour break. And then you'd have to do a 10-hour break so that way you can get yourself to where you have to stop early, get yourself a 10-hour break to where you can start at 5, 6 a.m. again, because if you don't, you're going to be able to start your clock at like 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. You know, so, yeah. So, if you don't understand an 8-2 split, and then you do one the first time, you'll fuck it up. I will be honest with you. You will fuck it all up. And then your log's going to be all fucked up throughout the day, and you're trying to figure out how the hell you do it. But luckily for me, my first 8-2 split, I actually talked to our night dispatch, and they told me how to do it. And it went flawlessly throughout the rest of the next day doing the 8-2 split. So it works out. So let's see here. Yes. And sometimes that's what I do while they're loading me. Like if they're still making product, or if they're having to wait on the product to come off the assembly line or something like that, I'll hop in the sleeper and wait till they knock on my door. Hey man, you're good. You can pull out. Go ahead and secure it. See, you learned it, but you learned it by accident. So, see, the best learning experiences are when you do shit by accident sometimes. I'm going to tell you right now, Choice. Like me, going around a couple curves too fast, or going around the curve, and as you're exiting, you hit the throttle to start accelerating, you get in a critical event right as you exit the turn. I've had that one happen before. Like I tell people all the time, if you don't learn something every day out here with the new systems that they got on the trucks, if you're not learning something at least once a day, you probably need to reevaluate yourself, because every day out here you should be learning something new at least once a day. You know, like at least how to drive your truck, because every day your truck's going to drive differently. But for the most part, you're going to know your truck. But there's going to be certain days like air temperature, you know, inlet temperature into your air intake, of how hot the air is, and what's going to make your truck run better. You're going to learn, okay, well, I can't run it at this RPM when it's this hot because the fan constantly runs. So I need to dial down the RPMs, and so it'll shift a little bit smoother and won't jerk on it. Or, you know, so the truck doesn't overheat, or, you know, I don't overheat the oil in the truck, and, you know, overheat my differentials, stuff like that. You know, when you run out where I do all the time, heat is a main factor, and how well your truck's going to perform. I live in Oklahoma. My differentials sometimes will get up to 170 degrees on the temp gauges. My oil temp will get up to over 230 degrees sometimes. But, well, not over, but up to. And my coolant temp will get up to 212 degrees. When everything starts getting up to, you know, uncomfortable temperatures for you, you'll start noticing if you get up to around 200 on your diffs and 230 on your oil, and your coolant temps at 212, you might want to back out of it and let her cool down a little bit. You'll learn it as you go. I mean, it's really really not as complicated as it seems when you're driving your own truck and learning stuff like that. I mean, it's coming from a guy that was a mechanic in the military, and I drove truck before I got out of the Army. So, you know, for my first 4 years, I was a truck driver in the Army, and in my last three, I did uh, turning wrenches on trucks. In true veteran fashion. Got to get the cigarette going. Yes. It gets hot out there in Oklahoma. And yeah, Mr. Chapstick, yeah. The hotter your oil gets, actually, some people do not know this, the hotter that oil temperature gets, the more your oil is breaking down. So, let's just say like your truck gets up to 230 on the temp gauge, you're actually doing more damage to your fluids in your truck than you actually think you are, because the oil starts breaking down a lot faster at 230 degrees than what you would actually think it would. And you know, eventually over time of you doing that, it it'll get to time where you need to get it serviced. Like TMC, they do I think it's 30,000 miles between oil changes. So, you know, these trucks, they're well maintained and well serviced, but, you know, 30,000 miles, I wouldn't push my truck that far, but that's the way TMC does it. It's worked for them for numbers of years, and plus they run synthetic oils. You know, they say it's lasts longer. I don't know. I'm a little biased on it. So anyways, Afghanistan twice, Korea once. I've been all over the place. Stationed at Fort Knox for 4 years. I was stationed in Korea for one. Did 2 years in Afghanistan while stationed at Fort Knox. Fort Sill for 2 years, and that was it. What do you mean, just ever sit in your truck there, Oliver? I mean, I'm sitting in it right now, so I don't know what you mean. But, so questions about the lease purchase. What do you got for me out there, guys? I've got answers for that for days, because I've been researching that for the last 6 to 8 months. Yep, you're dead on with that, Warwick. Oh, that's no problem, Jim. Yeah, I was at Camp Casey right there next to the DMZ. When Kim Jong-un thought it was funny to shoot at us back in 2015 when I was there, he got a nice little taste of American kick-ass. Because I'm not sure if I'm supposed to tell y'all how many rockets we fired back at him. But it was double digits, let's just say that. More than 20. But Yeah, luckily they didn't get us to that point when everything went down in 2015. I was actually not sleeping when that stuff was going on in 2015 when they were shooting at us over there because of Afghanistan and stuff. I didn't want to go back to another war or anything like that because I hadn't had time to, you know, mentally get myself back right after Afghanistan. You know, right enough to where I felt comfortable with myself. You know what I'm saying? Because I had just come back from Afghanistan maybe a year before they sent me to Korea. And, you know, sometimes it takes a little bit of time to, you know, get yourself back right after, you know, 2 consecutive deployments back to back, you know. I come back 2012 and 2013 in June I redeployed again back to Afghanistan. So yeah, it was pretty interesting, my second tour. Once I go get the phone call to go down there, um, what's going to happen is I'm going to get put on a list, and then I'm going to get a phone call to come look at a couple trucks. Well, or a truck. Come on, camera, focus. Anyways, I'll get a phone call to come look at a truck or two, and then I make my decision on, you know, what truck I want, and then depending on the price tag, depends on, you know, payment range and stuff like that. You can finance them out. I believe, if Reggie told me right, our truck sales guy, he told me, I think the longest you can finance them out is 4 years. Um, but what I'm going to do is I'm looking at 2.5 years, truck paid for, mine, between $450 and $550 a month. Not a month, but a week is what I'm going to be spending for the truck. Not counting insurance, permits, your tags, and your Qualcomm payment, which all that together will come out to being roughly right around $700 to $800 a week that I got to make at the first of the week, and then your fuel comes in and everything like that. So with TMC, 2.5 years of payments, which you could possibly pay it off, you know, sooner than that. But with TMC, there's no balloon payment. You get a truck, you sign a lease contract on it. Now, the only thing that TMC does not allow you to do is change anything personal on the truck, such as body panels, visors, bumpers, anything like that. You cannot change on the trucks until it's paid for one reason. Because they've had so many guys go out there and buy these trucks from them and make them the prettiest things on the road that you could see, but they were constantly breaking down and they were having to borrow money from TMC to fix the trucks. And so, you know, TMC finally said enough's enough and they take their trucks from them. Well, then they got to turn them back into the original appearance of a TMC truck. So, you know, that's where TMC changed it and all that, because people were dolling up their trucks and didn't have the money to fix it, you know, when it broke down. That's the bottom line of it. Alright, bro. Peace out. You have you a good night there, and be safe out there, bro. Let's see here. Well, see, if you don't have any, like what TMC does, their gym is 25 cents a mile when you start out goes into your maintenance account. So you put 15 cents in your maintenance account, 10 cents will go to an escrow account up to $7,500. That's just in case there's if they repo the truck, there's anything wrong with it, they can fix it within the $7,500 range. Now, if there's more damages or anything wrong with the truck, then they go to your maintenance account, and then anything left you get back after all that's said and done. What they told me. So, with that being said, you start out, under their maintenance program and everything like that. And what I suggest to people is start at the bare minimum, which they require is 25 cents a mile. See how your paychecks are going to shape out. See what you can, roughly average. And then once you can see what you can average, then bump up your cents per mile for your maintenance account and stuff like that. That's what a bunch of owner ops have suggested to me. So I'm going to try it and give it a go like that. But me being me, I'm probably going to be the overachiever and bump it up to like 35, 40 cents a mile. So for every loaded mile that you do with TMC, it does not count for bounce miles. Every loaded mile, if you put 25 cents a mile in, so let's say you do 2,000 miles and loaded miles that week. Well, you do, somebody break out the calculator. 2,000 miles times that by 0.35. Post it up here to see what that is. Well, actually, we'll do the base of 25 cents a mile. So that'd be 0.25. Let's see what y'all come up with. Okay, so of that 700, you figure out what that 10 cent a mile is, and then you take out that 10 cent a mile for the escrow account, and then that's what you're actually putting in to your maintenance account at 25 cents a mile if you were running 2,000 miles a week, which will probably happen if you have a breakdown or something like that. Things happen. So that's the reason why I want to do the 35 cent per mile, cover escrow plus maintenance, put a full 25 cents a mile in the maintenance account. So with that being said, you gotta weigh your options here. Do you buy a used TMC truck, all that type stuff, and all that, or go buy your own? Because a lot of guys out here that are just getting started, they don't have the credit or the down payment to put down on a brand new or used truck. And plus, a lot of times what will happen is they don't have the experience to do it. So that's where TMC gives drivers the opportunity to do it, but they will try and talk you out of it and stuff like that. In order to qualify for TMC's lease purchase, which some of you guys are asking about, you have to be with the company bare minimum a year and gross $170,000 to your truck in a year. So, you have to work for it. And that's what TMC wants to see is if you can pay a truck off in a year, one of their trucks, then they know that you can pay a truck off in 2.5, 3 years with the company. But show you that you have to work for that truck. You're going to have to do what you did with your company truck to get to the point where you're at to be able to do the lease purchase. You're going to have to work just as hard, if not harder, to keep that truck, to keep it on the road. So that's why, there's not as many owner ops here at TMC that are doing the lease purchase that have been successful because they did it the wrong way the first time. I've got a buddy of mine right now. He's bought shoot 2 or 3 trucks from TMC already, and has paid for them. And now he's on his 3rd truck now, and he's about to have it paid for here soon. So, I mean, he's, paid them off. Either traded them in on another one or sold them and got them another one. But he's actually had 5 trucks. But 2 of them were death trucks, about bankrupted. Just because they were problem childs when he got them. So, you got to weigh your options there. Let's see here. You really, really, if you want to do flatbed or anything in general, you got to look at the company. Okay, the companies that offer lease purchases. Okay, TMC. I'm going to use them as an example because I'm a TMC driver. TMC has no balloon payment on their lease purchase. Once you make that last payment, that truck's yours. You make that. You make that last. Let's say your truck payment's $500. You make that last $500 payment. You go into the terminal. You sign the dang title to that truck, and that truck is yours. No balloon payment, no buyout, or nothing. No balloon at the end, Mr. Chapstick. You get that truck at the end of the dang term. That truck's yours. TMC also, their lease purchase is a walk-away lease. If you do it for 2 months and realize, hey man, this ain't me, TMC ain't gonna fault you for it. They're gonna let you go back into a company truck. They're not gonna fire you over it. They're gonna put you back in one of their company trucks and let you continue to be a driver for them. That speaks numbers about a company. Usually a company that gets your truck, they take your truck from you, they fire you. From what I've heard and what I've talked to other people about, and TMC doesn't starve you. TMC will not starve you. I mean, there will be times where freight gets slow, and TMC will put freight on their company trucks before they will you, but they're not starving you because their company guys come before you. Because TMC is not going to offer you $1.25 a mile, because they know that you're not going to take it unless you're just in an area that's all you can get. TMC knows that, like, let's say you're, let's see here. I'll use where I live at. Right. Yes. Exactly there, Mr. Chapstick. So let's just say, okay, around where I live at. I live in Oklahoma. Yes, they want you to succeed. If this is what you want, they want to see you do it. They don't want to get that truck back. That's the reason why they're selling it. They don't want that truck back. It pisses them off when they get the truck back. Believe me. Because then it makes them have a little disfaith in that driver, that, he couldn't do what he said he was going to do, But they're not going to fault him for it. But they're going to be like, well, we tried to tell you. We told you so. But, so, back to what I was saying, though. When you live like where I live at. I live in Fort Sill, Oklahoma area. Okay, let's say I deliver a load between Oklahoma City and Tulsa. Let's use a good town there. Let's go Strad, Oklahoma. Okay. Okay, I'm between Oklahoma City and Tulsa. Freight's slow. It's wintertime. Or they know that I'm not going to go to Fletcher, Oklahoma, which is a 3 hour bounce for a $900 load. When I could go over to Tulsa and pick up a load of gas pipe that may pay $2,000 to go into the oil field. You see what I'm saying? And it'll only go like 700 miles. You know, TMC freight varies a lot. There are good paying loads out there, and there are shit loads. As a company driver, you will get those shit loads. No, that's Field Artillery. That's the home of the artillery down there. Um, but you're talking about Fort Benning and all that. Yes, but on the bad side of that is if you have a load that you decline, you don't get paid bounce miles after that once you bounce up to 150 miles as an owner op. So, if you get another load that pays really good, that you got to drive 200 miles to go get, you're not going to get paid for it. So it is an up and down, but with TMC's lease purchase program, or if you lease a truck on here at TMC, you get 70% starting out. Depending on your 13-week average, depends on where you're going to be at on your percentage. You go all the way up to 73%. If you had your own trailer, you'd start at 75. Okay? But you would be stupid to bring your own trailer over here with how many dropping hooks that we do. It's just better to run with their trailer and let them worry about the maintenance on it and everything like that, tire blowout, stuff like that. And also, when you're an owner op here, you have no trailer rental fee at the end of the week. You get 100% of the fuel surcharge. You get, like, let's say you're at 72%. You get 72% of what the tarp pay is on the load if it's tarped. I mean, obviously you don't get their health care or anything like that, but if you got free health care like I do, it doesn't matter. But you know, you also got to have a CPA if you're not confident in doing your own taxes every quarterly by yourself, and all that stuff. So be careful about that. You know, there's a lot of things that go into play about this stuff that, you know, people don't take in consideration when they start. You know, so like me, I've averaged myself out. If my numbers, I can do my numbers pretty damn good, and on paper it looks good, but until I start doing it, I don't know what I'm going to do. So this week we hit $171,000 in 1 year to the truck in a 62 mile an hour truck. If you can do $170,000 to your truck in a 62 mile an hour truck, I think you can pay a truck off in a year. Well, okay, so the way TMC explains it to you in their TQM class, what the TQM class is like a time quality management class. What they tell you in there is sometimes you got to take a shitload to get a good load. I take shitloads all the time. The worst load I've ever taken, $350 for 250 miles. But on the backside of that load, I got a $1,200 load that went north out of Texas. You think I declined that load? Nope. Because it made that shit load a better load. I did pretty good that week. Um, but yeah, TMC's bare minimum to their truck as a company driver, you got to make 3250. 3500, you look good. If you look great. If you do $5,000 or better, you're a freaking rock star with the company. You know, my 13-week average to my truck, I probably shouldn't put this out there, but I make, my average to my truck is $4,000. I mean, you know, it's all about your fleet manager, how he places you in the freight lanes. You got to learn your freight lanes so you can argue with them a little bit and have a little leg to stand on. Having trust in your fleet manager too as well, and having a good working relationship. It's like a marriage. You got to work together to make it work. You know, so, you know, with TMC, that stuff really goes into play. You know, parking up on the weekends, all that stuff. Your percentage and everything. No, actually, I get pretty decent freight where I live at. And that's the reason why it's hard for me to want to leave Oklahoma, because I do get really good freight out there sometimes, Ray. And that's the problem, is I don't want to leave a good freight area to go to a bad freight area. Yep, that's right, Jim. Don't turn down a load unless you absolutely just cannot do it. I tell you, my best week so far since I've been at TMC has been $5,100. My worst week, I think it was $2,400 to the truck. So you got your good weeks and you got your bad weeks. Put them all together, it's just like that. It doesn't fucking matter. This is the trucking industry. You take good with the bad. You can't plan on anything but a breakdown or something bad happening. If you try and stay optimistic and say remain positive, humble yourself, and remember that all of the things that good will happen to you comes in stride and in good blessings, you'll remain in good faith and keep a good positive head on your shoulders and stuff like that. It ain't nothing but a thing. It's a feast or famine world out here. Sometimes you hit it right out the park and are in the right areas at the right time. Sometimes you just hit the area at the wrong time and there's nothing there. I mean, it's happened to me several times. But do I get pissed off and been out of shape about it? No. I take it as a learning experience. Alright, Mr. Chapstick, you have a good night there and be safe, brother. So, alright, we down to 5 viewers and 2 likes. So, hit the like button here. Let's get a like spike. Remember to like and subscribe to my videos, guys. If you guys want to check out some of my load securement, some of my previous videos, go down there and check them out. I put out some pretty good information. And always on Friday nights when I'm home, it's Friday night barbecue night with Veteran Trucker. You get to sit there and enjoy Veteran Trucker drinking a beer or a nice whiskey and Coke. And you get to see the real side of Veteran Trucker when he's not in the truck. You get to see him joking around and acting a fool. And I mean, that's the liveliness that I bring to my channel. I don't want it to be just all about truck driving. It's a blog basically about my life and my life experiences, you know, along as being a truck driver, trying to teach you guys the right way of doing things and not the wrong way. Because I hate to see you guys get out here and jump out here thinking that you're doing everything right, thinking that it's all good, and then you run across me and I look at you and go, really? or another truck driver runs across you and you get your ass reamed for it, or you get fired from your company for doing the wrong thing, or get busted by DOT, or you cause an accident or to get somebody else killed. So, you know, so it really, really makes me feel good to know that I'm putting good content out there, and you guys are watching it and liking my videos and commenting. So we are going to be here next week. We're going to start back posting load securement. I know I haven't done it in a while, so we'll start posting more load securement, factual videos and stuff like that. Yes, I can, Ray. I've had it so bad to where I've made $400 one week. I've had it as great as $1,400 in a week. Out here in the flatbed industry, if you make $800 to $900 a week, you're doing good. If you're making more than that, you're doing great. That means that your company's hauling, good freight. But if you're like TMC, where they specialize in the housing industry and the steel industry, sometimes the loads don't pay good, but hey, at the end of the day, there's revenue to your truck. Think about it as putting clothes on your kids' backs, your wife, putting food on the table, and keeping a roof over their heads at the end of the day. And that's the way I look at it. I work hard for everything, I do out here, and you guys got to have the same mentality. Work hard for everything that you want to do in life. Do it to the best of your abilities, and know that you're going to do it right the first time. Don't half-ass it. It took me all of 2 months to figure out that I wanted to be a truck driver until I freaking worked myself to death. Because I grew up doing this. So, me being an owner-op, I made my mind up that's what I wanted to do after a couple months of being with the company. So I've, looked at it, weighed my options, and finally made my mind up. Yes, are there some doubts? Yes, are there some worries in the back of my mind about doing it? You're damn right. But is there, one thought in my head that says that I can't do it? No. Is there some worries along the way that I'm going to have, whether I'm going to fail? Yes. But you can't let that get to you out here. If you worry about every single day that you're going to fail or you're going to fuck up, you're going to fuck up. You're going to fail. You're going to do something stupid and wish to God you never done it. So, always, if you don't know something, ask. Especially in the flatbed industry. When it comes to securement. Because the one time you don't ask that question and you don't do the load securement right, it could be somebody's life. So, that's where I'm going to end this preaching to you guys about it. But this video is getting up to 49 minutes long. Usually don't like to go past 30 anymore. But if you guys, have any questions, any comments, or anything that y'all want, answered, let me know. I usually try and reply back to you guys within a couple hours of y'all posting a comment on one of my videos. If I don't reply in 2 hours, you give me until I stop. I will be replying. If some of you guys want my email, after y'all, all that stuff, after y'all get into doing this and all that, by all means, I'll give it to you. But, I want to make sure that the information that I'm giving you and the way I'm telling you to do stuff, or, if you're asking questions, you know what you're doing. And that's why I came to TMC. Is because TMC fit the bill for what I wanted from a company. They fit the bill of what my needs were. They get me home whenever I wanted to be home. And they'd leave me out here running the truck if I wanted to stay out running. So, that type of flexibility is what I wanted within a company. TMC has actually been an outstanding company to me as a 1-year driver. My grandmother passed away not too long ago. I didn't have, the hours to make it home one night to my grandmother's funeral that night for the next morning. TMC paid and rented me a car to drive to my grandmother's funeral from Charlotte, North Carolina. I told my fleet manager that my grandfather was in bad shape and was in the hospital about 3 weeks later, 3 or 4 weeks later. My fleet manager did not even tell me about it. He gets me a load swap, takes me over into Iowa, gets me a load from Iowa going straight to my mom and dad's house in North Carolina. When my son was born, TMC told me to go straight home to be with my wife while she was in labor. TMC allowed me to have that next week off as well after I delivered that load. So TMC has been a great company to me so far. And for the people out there to say TMC is not a great company and all that, they're full of shit, because they must have been the shit bags of the company. Because if you do everything that TMC asks of you, you work hard, you do the best of your abilities, you don't have any issues with them, TMC treats you with the utmost respect, and they treat you as a driver, not a truck number. I can call my fleet manager any time of the day when he's not busy. He'll answer the phone. As soon as he hears my voice, he'll be like, "What's up, George? What do you want? What do you need? What can I do you for?" Or what's going on, man? Is there something going on I need to know about? That's the type of people you want to work for. People that recognize you as a person, calls you by your first name. You can call them by their first name. You're not just a truck number. Those are the type of guys you want to work for. TMC's fleet managers, most of them have about 48 to 50 drivers on their fleet. That's all they have. TMC has a lot of fleet managers for 2,200 drivers. So, there you go. If you guys got any questions about TMC, I will be here to answer them. Choice Mass, a great guy. I watch all of his videos. I have not got the opportunity to meet him yet, but from what I can see, he's a pretty cool dude. And one day I will be running into him, whether it be here at TMC or him in another truck working for another company. But me and Choice will be meeting up one day and doing a live feed together. There's one other YouTuber that I've run into out here, Hammer Down. You'll see a lot of his videos out there, but he's more of a Texas runner. He runs only Texas, but he pulls reefer. So if you guys are interested in checking him out, go check him out. There's a lot of guys out there, but you got to watch who you guys follow on YouTube out here, because there's a lot of guys that will steer y'all in the wrong direction. So be careful about that too as well. Don't listen to everybody out there. You got to learn to decipher from the bullshit out there too as well. Learn to decipher what's right and what's wrong, what's factual and what's fiction. So, with that being said, guys, I'm going to cut this live feed short. Get off here and get ready to go to bed. I got about 8 hours until my clock resets. But I don't have to be at the shipper until 8 o'clock in the morning. So actually I get 9 hours of sleep almost. Actually I get about 8.5 before I have to really be there. So we'll definitely be posting a video probably this weekend. I do Sunday night live feeds, Friday night live feeds. Sometimes I do live feeds on load securement just to teach you guys something new. Down and we gone.